Picture this. A man whose velvet voice has been the soundtrack to countless love stories. A father who has seen his name in lights, heard the roar of sold-out crowds, and watched generations sing along to his timeless hits. Yet, when the music stops and the curtain falls, he sits alone with memories of sons who are no longer here. This is not just about a celebrity. This is not just about music. This is about loss, the kind that forever alters the rhythm of a man's heart. Today, we step into the private, quiet corners of Eddie Levert's life, away from the fame, beyond the spotlight, to uncover the grief he rarely speaks of, and the whispers of tension, industry pressures, and family heartache that followed. Before we dive in, let's be clear. This channel shares commentary, analysis, and alleged accounts from publicly available sources. Everyone is innocent until proven otherwise. Nothing here is definitive fact unless confirmed by official records. Our goal is to tell the story the way it's been told in reports, interviews, and whispers, while respecting all involved. Before we can understand Eddie Levert's grief, we have to understand his life. Born in Bessemer, Alabama in 1942, Eddie grew up in the church. That's where his voice first turned heads. As a young boy, his family moved to Canton, Ohio, and it was there that destiny began to unfold. With friends, Eddie formed a small group that would evolve into one of the most legendary R&B groups of all time, the O'Jays. By the 1970s, they weren't just another band. They were the soundtrack of a generation. Songs like Love Train, Backstabbers, and For the Love of Money became anthems. Eddie's rich, soulful voice was instantly recognizable, powerful enough to make you dance, yet tender enough to make you cry. The fame, the tours, the awards, Eddie lived the dream. But like many stars, behind the glitter, there were cracks forming. Eddie wasn't just a star, he was a father. His sons Gerald and Sean grew up surrounded by music, watching their dad command stages around the world. And let's be honest, growing up as Eddie Levert's kids came with perks. Industry connections, studio access, instant credibility. But it also came with pressure. Gerald emerged as a powerhouse in his own right, not just riding on his father's name, but carving his own space with hits like Casanova and Baby Hold On To Me, a duet with Eddie that remains a fan favorite. Sean, the younger son, also followed the music path, joining the group Levert alongside his brother. Together, they seemed unstoppable. But fame has a way of testing family bonds. And according to whispers from industry insiders, the Leverts had their share of behind-the-scenes disagreements, about music, about direction, and yes, about money. November 10, 2006. For most of us, just another day. For Eddie, it was the day the world changed. Gerald Levert was found unresponsive at his home in Cleveland. He was just 40 years old. The official cause of death was a combination of prescription and over-the-counter medications, reportedly taken for chronic pain and anxiety. No foul play, but a devastating loss nonetheless. Fans were stunned. The industry mourned. But for Eddie, it was unthinkable. Imagine, the son who had shared your stage, who had your voice, who carried your legacy into a new era, gone in an instant. Eddie didn't just lose a son that day, he lost a musical partner, a piece of his own identity. In the years after Gerald's passing, Eddie leaned heavily on his remaining son, Sean. They shared grief, but also purpose, keeping Gerald's memory alive through music, charity events, and interviews. But tragedy wasn't finished with the Levert family. In March 2008, less than 2 years after Gerald's death, Sean Levert died suddenly at the age of 39 while serving a jail sentence in Ohio. Reports say Sean was being held for failing to pay child support. While incarcerated, he fell ill and died within days. His death was later linked to complications from sarcoidosis, an inflammatory disease. 2 sons, gone. In less than 24 months. Even as an outsider, just reading that is crushing. For Eddie, It was unimaginable. Here's where the story takes a deeper turn. Publicly, Eddie kept working. He toured. He sang. He smiled in interviews. He even joked sometimes. But those close to him, allegedly, say the grief never left. It lived in his eyes, in the way he lingered on certain songs, in the quiet moments after shows when the room would clear and he'd just sit. One insider reportedly told a music magazine, Eddie never truly came back from losing his boys. He's learned to live with it, but you can see it in him, it's always there. Loss has a way of bringing families together, or tearing them apart. And if you believe the whispers, the Levert family experienced both. Some say that in the aftermath of Gerald and Sean's deaths, there were disputes over music rights, estates, and how to preserve their legacies. Others claim Eddie struggled with guilt, wondering if the pressures of the industry contributed to his son's untimely passings. There are even unverified reports of tension between Eddie and certain extended family members over public statements and appearances. Now, to be clear, these are allegations, not proven facts. But in the world of music, where money, fame, and emotion collide, such stories aren't uncommon. If there's one thing that's kept Eddie going, it's the fans. At shows, people still come up with tears in their eyes, telling him how Gerald's or Sean's music helped them through breakups, illnesses, even their own grief. And Eddie listens. He hugs them. Sometimes, he shares a story. Sometimes, he just nods, because he knows the words won't come. In a 2019 interview, Eddie said something that stuck with many fans. When you lose someone, you don't get over it. You just learn to carry it. Music helps me carry it. Today, Eddie Levert is in his early 80s. He's lived a life that could fill several books, a life of chart-topping success, personal heartbreak, and unshakable resilience. And while his grief may be unseen to the public eye, it is woven into every note he sings. For fans, the story of Eddie Levert is a reminder: the people we admire, the voices that lift us up, often carry the heaviest burdens when the lights go out. So now I want to hear from you. What's the Eddie Levert song that's touched your heart the most? And how do you think artists like Eddie find the strength to keep going after such unimaginable loss? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep this conversation, and this legacy, alive. If you learned something new today, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories from the heart of the music world, and don't forget to share this video with someone who needs a reminder of the strength of the human spirit.